Pinnatifida. That's me trying to get right and once and for all the correct pronunciation for what I've constantly stated on this site as being my favorite aquarium plant. The least I could do was know its name, or at least how to pronounce it. Hygrophila Pinnatifida. Hygrophila Pinnatifida. And nowhere is it more prevalent, at least in my fish room, than in this tank. I've got pretty much 80% of the mid-ground dominated by that plant. Now that wasn't always the case. There was some Bushy, Anubias petite. There's obviously some moss that you can see right without me prompting it. And on this side, on the corner, there's some crypts. But basically, from a few stems I stuck into the woodwork, I've now cultivated my favorite plant in the mid-ground. You can see what I love about it, just generally speaking, but specifically, you get the growth of long, really unique shaped leaves, and or shorter, tighter, more like Bushy or even an Anubias, just tighter, more compact growth there. Long stemmy fronds there, both in the same tank, both entirely doable. You might not even have a choice if you choose this plant. They just are very, in my experience, easy to grow and cultivate. I've heard contrary opinions online, but maybe that's just that individual's experience. He claimed there was a lot of melting and some rot. I've had a little of that when I stick some brand new little piece in the wrong place, but basically it's just done its thing, especially in this tank. Now the way to keep this plant more succinct, more tight to the hardscape, is to keep on trimming. And you can trim one leaf at a time. In the case of these big long ones, that's a strategy. Or you just, like a typical stem plant, find the right place just between the two nodes and snip. And obviously, goes without saying, you could replant that top if you want, but it also will stimulate this tighter growth, which, you know, in a limited aquarium is a pretty cool option to have. Right now, if it's all mid-ground plant, then it could do both things. Will it overtake and eventually destroy some of these others if it hasn't already? Well, I already answered my question. If it hasn't already, certain things just lose the battle, and rather than fight to keep them necessarily related, you know, to one another, just let the dominant one win. And totally unlike how the human species evaluates its society. But in the plant world, look at that beautiful honey gourami, just doing what it is that they do that make them so popular, and you only need one. As I was saying, the plant can go both ways, if you will, and easy to encourage that to happen. I love this aquarium plant, and I think you will too. Just to finish updating this tank, I've got a lovely school of Chili rasbora, Brigitea rasbora. I think there's 8 of these tiny little fish, and they are tiny. Man, I forgot how tiny they were till I picked them up, but that's fine. And here's some sort of, at least right now, rowdy Becksford pencil fish. They're very fat and happy. It looks like I have all females. And trust me, I do not overfeed my tanks. I've been underfeeding to limit algae growth and other issues. I've got cherry shrimp in here. Look at these, amazing fire red. And I found some babies the other day. Now those, unfortunately, are all little snail infants. There's a baby cherry shrimp. You see that little red dot, real red fingernail? And then there's a blue dream right there. I hope the cherries can survive in here. Lord knows though, there's a whole bunch of them. Bingo, jackpot. This unruly dwarf hairgrass is the perfect cover for them. I'm sure these pencilfish, and judging from their appetites and their tummies, I'm sure they would pick the shrimp off if they readily could get to them. Obviously chili rasbora and the green neons I have, which have chosen this filming time to shelter, they're not going to eat dwarf shrimp. Maybe a juvenile here and there, but basically those fish are always kept with Neocaridina. And in the back I have stem plants. So background stem plants, midground the Hygrophila P, and then foreground dwarf hairgrass crypts on either side. So there's method in this madness. I mean, when you first just look at it, it's basically an unruly jungle. But as we break it down, you can see there's some discipline, architecture beneath the surface. And the more I trim, the more that will become apparent. Right now we're in between where I think it needs a haircut and when it doesn't. So another week maybe, or longer, we'll see. I don't mind if the stems in the back go all the way to the top. I don't mind if the Hygrophila P does its thing even more. And the hair grass is helping my shrimp, so why would I trim it? Anyway, just thinking out loud. Thank you for your time, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend if that's when you're watching this. Ciao for now.